Again, welcome to CS 102, Introduction to Programming Using Java. This is Unit 2 lab work, which covers Chapter 2 of our course textbook, Java Data Types and Expressions. Our main objective is to solve two problems, again, using Java programming language. Our first problem, which comes from our textbook, question number 2.8, is to write a program that reads values representing a time durations in hours, minutes, and seconds. And then we print the equivalent total number of seconds. So for example, user may enter 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 42 seconds. And we are going to convert it to a total amount of seconds. So in this case, it will be 5,322 seconds. Now we can state the algorithm here. For example, we know for 28 minutes is the same as having 28 times 60 seconds, because we know every minute is 60 seconds. Now we will convert also the hours to seconds, which means it will be 60 times 60, which will give us 3,600. So 1 hour is equivalent to 3,600 seconds. And 28 minutes will give us 60 seconds times 28. Then we add it to 42 seconds. So let's see how we can do this using Java programming language. So again, here we start with the importation, or we import the utility package because we need a scanner class. And as we said previously, the scanner class allows us to input a data either using the keyboard or using the file system if we have stored our data in a file. So here we have import java.util.scanner. Then our main class name again is seconds. As we said, the program name or the file name is seconds.java. In Java, always the file name is the same as the main class name. In the main class, that's where we have our main method. And as we said many times, execution always takes place at the main method. This is a Java standalone application. So our main objective is to compute the total number of seconds for a given number of hours, minutes, and seconds. So again, this is chapter 2 of our course textbook. So all we are doing, get our input, do our arithmetic operations, we get our result, then we print it, and that will be our output. So input, process, and output. So here we declare two constant variables here because of the conversion. So we say seconds per hour is 3,600, which means 1 hour is equivalent to 3,600 seconds. Then seconds per minute is 60, which means 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. So this is our two constant variables. As we said in the lectures, anytime we declare a constant variable, we start with the keyword final and the data type of the content and also the name of the variable, but we have to initialize it. A constant variable always must have a content. We have to initialize it. So those are the two, again, constant variables. The first one, seconds per hour, and the second one is seconds per minute. And again, a constant variable, we always have to initialize it. So now we declare our variables here. We have seconds, minutes, hours, and total seconds. We need these 4 variables because we are going to ask the user to enter the number of seconds, which we are going to store in the seconds variable. Then the number of minutes, and we are going to store that in our minutes variable. Then also the number of hours. Then we are going to calculate the total seconds equivalent to the input. So we need another variable to store the total seconds. So that is the total seconds variable. So the next thing is we create our scanner object. So we have scanner, scan equal to new scanner system.in. Again, as we said earlier, system.in means we are going to use the keyboard to get our input. Our scanner object, the name can be any name. Here we name it scan. The next line, we ask the user to enter the number of hours. So system.out.print, enter the number of hours. Then we use the next int method. Why? because hours variable, the data type is int. So we use the scan.nestInt to get the input from the user, and we are going to store that in the hours variable. Next, we ask the user to enter the number of minutes. Again, we use the scan object.nestInt to get the input from the user, and we store it in the minutes variable. Then next, we ask the user to enter the number of seconds. We also use the scan.nestInt, and the user will enter the seconds into the seconds variable. So now we finish with our input. We have the hours, minutes, and seconds. Now to find the total hours, the formula will be hours that we enter times seconds per hour. So we know seconds per hour is 3,600. So to convert an hour to seconds, it will be the number of hours times 3,600 plus the minutes times seconds per minute. We know 1 minute is 60 seconds. So seconds per minute is 60 plus the seconds we enter. So this formula will give us the total seconds, which is equivalent to the input that we enter for hours, minutes, and seconds. Now we have to print the result, which will be our output. Here we have system.out.print, but we are not printing anything. This means we are using the println. This means we want to print an empty line. We want to leave an empty line. So when I want to have my output screen and I want to leave, let's say 2 lines or 3 lines, then I can write system.out.println 2 or 3 times. Then next, system.out.println, we are going to say the total seconds is whatever we have in our variable total seconds. Again, the plus here is to join the strings on our left, which is total seconds, and also the content in the total seconds variable. So the total seconds variable content will be the formula result. So again, that's our first problem. Let's go to the second problem. Again, we are doing chapter 2. So most of our problem here is just to get an input, do our arithmetic operations, then we show the result, which will be our output, or print the result or save it. So our second question said we should write a program that will prompt for and also read a double value. So that will be our input to read a double value representing a monetary output amount. So our input will be, again, amount of money. The reason why it will be double because of the cent. For example, $47.63. Then we should determine the fewest number of each bill and coin needed to represent that amount, starting with the highest, assuming that $10 bill is the maximum size needed. So for example, if we enter 47.63, which means $47.63, $47, the least amount of currency we can have, if the maximum is $10 bill, then we can have 4 $10 bill, then 5 $1 bill, and 2 $1 bill. Or if we have $2 bill, then 1 $2 bill. In US, again, we have $2 bill, but it's not too much common in circulation. And for example, if the maximum currency is $50 or $100, then the least amount of currency we are going to have, this is 47. So we are going to have 2 bills for $20, then 1 bill for $5, and 1 bill for, again, $2. So this is the output for 47.63. Here, the question said we should assume $10 is the highest bill. So this means we are going to get 4 $10 bill, 1 $5 bill, then 2 $1 bill. So again, here we are assuming the $2 bill is not circulating. In US now, it's not, it's very rare. It's been a long time I saw $2 bill. Then we have 63 cents. We know the highest coin is 25, or the quarters. So here we can have up to 2 quarters. which is 50. 3 quarters will give us 75. So we have 2 quarters. The remaining will be 13. So we have 1 dime. And or the remaining is 3. So we have only 3 pennies. So this is how our program will look like. So the whole idea of this means we are going to use the division, and also we are going to use the modulus operator. So for example, if I have 47.63, I will take only 47. Okay, so 47, we have to use a division. If it's $10, 47 divided by 10 will give me 4. Then I will say 47 modulus 10 again, which will give me 7. Then I will divide the 7 by 5 because our next bill is 5, etc. So let's see how the code works. Again, hopefully we understand the question. We are going to enter amount. For example, $47.63. Then we want to know the least amount of bills and also coins we can have. So again, we need an input from a user. So we import the utility package. So we have import java.util.scanner. Now this file name is money conversion. So we have money conversion.java. That's the name of the file. Same as the main class. Inside the main class, again, we have our main method. So we have our first variable, which is called the total. Then we have a variable for 10, since the maximum bill is $10. So we assume we may have tens. The next lowest bill is 5s. The next is 1s. Then the highest coin is quarters. Then the dime, then nickels. Then the remaining cents, which will be the pennies. Again, if we want to check with $100 be 50, then we have to have a variable. Now, the variable name can be any name, but as we said in lectures, when you are choosing a variable, choose a variable name that can at least even identify the content. So here, when I see tens, I know this means $10 bills. The variable name 5s means to have the how many $5 bills we have, etc. So we also create a scanner object again so that we can ask the user to get our input. So here we say system.out.print. The user should enter the amount of money. The amount of money will be double. Actually, we declare the variable as double, the total. So we have the scan.next double. We store, again, if it's int, then we're going to say scan.next int. Or float, we say scan.next float. So we get the input to the total. Then now we need to convert it. So the total can be, let's say, $20.30. So it will be 20.30, etc. So now we want to convert the total into int. Why we are doing this? Because we want to get the dollar bills. We don't want to have the decimal. So we multiply total by 100. If we multiply total by 100, then that will give us all the possible amount of, again, because we know 100 cents represent $1. So we are converting all the dollars, everything to cents. Then the answer we get, we convert it to int. So now we know the amount, let's say $47.63. The total cent will be 4,763. Now we divide it with 1,000. Why 1,000? Again, because we want to get the tens. And in order to get the tens, we know, again, we have the 2 decimal places 100th. So the third position will be 1,000th. So what I mean, if I have 4763, if I divide it by 1,000, the answer will be 4. Remember, 4763 is int. So I divide it with 1,000, the answer will be 4. The first digit will give me how many $10 I have. In this case, the maximum bill is $10. That's why we have this formula. So we get the number of tens we need. Then we want to know the remainder, as we said earlier. So I'm going to use the remaining cent modulus 1,000. So if it's 4,763, the remainder will be 763. Okay, now I have 763. I'm going to divide 763 by 500, which will give me the number of $5 bills I will get. And that answer will go to 5s. Now I have 763. If I divide by 500, I will get only 1. And the remainder will be somewhere around 200 and something, 263. Now the remainder is where we will say the remaining cent modulus equal 500, which means remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 500. And that will give us the remainder, which will be 263 if I'm using 4,763. Next, we want to know how many $1 bills we have. So the remaining cent we have now, we divide by 100. Then we want to know the remainder. Then the remainder will go to the coins. So now we have remaining cent divided by 25, because 25 cents give us 1 quarter. So that will give us the number of quarters. Then we also want to know the remainder after that. So we have remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 25. Then when we get the remainder, we divide by 10, and that will give us the number of dimes we have. Then after the number of dimes, we find the remainder. Then when we get the remainder, we also, from dimes, we have to go to nickels. So the remaining cent divided by 5, that will give us the number of nickels. Then after nickels, the remainder will be the remaining cent that is left, or the pennies. So we finish. Now we want to print our output. So first, this is equivalent to the tens. How many tens we have? I think if I have 4,763, the tens will be 4. How many 5s we have? We already calculated it. The ones, the quarters, the dimes, the nickel, and the last will be the remaining cent. So the remaining cent that is left. Now the whole idea of this problem, we can see anytime, for example, again, 4,763. First thing I did is $47.63. So it's a decimal number. But we know $1 is 100 cents. In dollars, to convert dollars to cents is 100. So we multiply by 100 and we convert the whole amount to cents. And since the value total is double, we change it to int. Then from there, we divide by 1,000, and that will give us the possible number of 5s. We want to know the remaining cent after that. So we have the remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 1,000. That will give us. Then after we get the remaining cent that is left, we divide that by 500, and that will give us the number of 5s. After that, we want to know the remaining cent. So we use the modulus operator again. Remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 500. After we get the result, we divide the remaining cent by 100. That will give us how many $1 bills we have. We know $1 bill is equivalent to 100 cents. After we finish, we want to know the remaining cent. So we have remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 100. Now we have the new remaining cent. We divide it by 25, and that will give us the number of quarters. Then we want to know the remainder, the remaining cent again. We use the remainder operator, remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 25. The answer we get, we find the dimes. So remaining cent divided by 10 will give us the number of dimes. Then after that, we have remaining cent equal to remaining cent modulus 10, which will give us the remainder. After dime, we have to find the quarters. The nickels. So nickels, we know is 5 cents is 1 nickel. So remaining cent divided by 5. After that, the remaining cent will be the pennies that is left. Then we print all the results. So that will be the conclusion of this lectures. Again, if you have a question, we may answer the question at school and during the lab work. Thank you.